Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing coming to you with another quick tutorial. This is one that I have made in the past as well using a junk mail envelope. So this is what I made as my prototype. So the base is a junk mail envelope. We did not retain the window pocket. You of course could do that if you wanted to. I did not do that in this case. But basically you decide the measurements you want it, how high, how tall you want it, how wide you want it, and then you would glue the side open because you will have probably had to trim it, and then the top is open, or you cut your tag shape and then that opens up the top. You fold the front of that envelope over backwards, and then I glued mine down just because I wanted it to stay in place, and then I put a large tag in the back, 2 journal cards here, and a piece of ephemera printed on tracing paper inside of this pocket. So this one's going to be actually glued down to a page in a journal. If you wanted it to be floating, you would just put something on the back as well. I did not do that in this case. And if you were to do that, you could definitely make it another tuck spot, either here or here. So yeah, that's our prototype. I love how the how the decorating went. Very simple. Did a stamped butterfly on the top of this vellum pocket. We're going to do another vellum pocket, but we're going to do it with that tea-dyed paper from the Beautiful Birds kit from Ruby and Pearl that I love so much. I have my whale tail punch. Thank you, Shelley. Vintage photo archival ink, Fairly Arts glue, and Fabri-Tac, scissors and a pencil. And I got a little bit of, this is some seam binding that I dyed. It's kind of raunchy looking, but I'm thinking it's going to be okay. So let's get going. I'm going to move my mouse so I don't stop the video. Most of this is ephemera bits that we'll cut down to put in pockets and such. So I'm just going to set that over there. This one, I think I just have as an extra piece in case I need more to cover up the envelope bits. So I'm just going to set that over there. This is going to be our main image that we're going to be using. Isn't that just so beautiful? I love it. We'll probably use this bottom section so that I can not have this take over, but this is from Ruby and Pearl. I don't remember off the top of my head which kit it is, but I will link it below so that you can check it out. That one, the one I just showed you, was the Blue Bonnet kit from Ruby and Pearl. So we're going to do one fully, and then I'm just going to do one to show you the basic steps, okay? So the first thing that you want to decide is how tall you want your pocket to be. Now, obviously in this case, or I say obviously, but maybe not for you, this is very, very tall. It's 9.5 inches, so it's definitely going to need to be cut down. And then it is 4 and just over 4 1/8 inches wide. So the width is okay for me, but we do need to cut it down. So I'm going to show you that process really quick. And I'm going to cut it off of this because it's hard to stabilize that plastic. If you're covering it completely because you're putting paper all the way around here, it's okay. But in this case, it's a little bit weak. I am going to strengthen this little tab. Let me just put some glue right here. Attach that down. Okay, like so. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my trimmer, and I'm going to trim this off. Let's make it, just for kicks, let's make it 7 inches tall. So I'm just going to make a mark here. I'm going to turn to my printer, or my cutter, my printer, and cut that. Okay, so now what you should have, now I open my junk mail from the side. I try not to open it from the top. It just feels more useful. So what I did on my prototype is I actually put a piece of paper in here to cover that up. So because that's a pocket and you can kind of see in it. I'm not going to do it for the sake of, I'm just showing you the basic steps in this one. We're not even going to cover this one or decorate it. We're going to do another one. But you would glue up the side here. So let's go ahead and do that. Just put a bead of glue. You want to try not to take up too much of your landscape if you can help it. Okay. Boom. Beautiful. And then go ahead and grab whatever you use to make your tag shapes. I have this little credit card thingy. I think I'll do that. Is that too big? Nope, I think it's okay. It's a little bit crooked. My little template here. Oh goodness, I've already lost my way. There we go. Just line that up over here. It doesn't have to be perfect. You know what I say. What do I say? I love it when I hear other people say that in their sharing or in their videos. It's pretty cool. So now what you have is this. So it's completely glued. We don't want to mess with this too much, but you basically fold this down like that. You would cover this area. You could leave those windows open and collage around it if you wanted to. If you did that, you'd probably want to line the entire envelope because that would be kind of ugly, but it's totally up to you. You would, I folded mine down, covered this area. Well, I didn't glue it first. I covered everything first. Then I glued this piece down. You've got a pocket here. And then in one of my prototypes, I did put a pocket down here, just a lower one. I think in my very first one. Where did that go? No, I did not. I did not. I'm dreaming of a different video. But that's basically it. So you're just covering all of the bits that you don't want to see, the junk mail envelope. But I'm going to show you that fully in the project here. So this is my envelope. I like big pockets, like I like big everything. Big journal cards, big everything. So I'm going to go ahead and just fix this envelope as well. This one was a little, well, I guess I did cut it off on the side as well. I try to get a hold of them before my husband does because he just rips them open. And I don't really have a lot because I did purge some stuff out. I just had so much stuff. So this one measures 6 inches wide, so that definitely has to be cut down, and by 9.5 inches tall. So let's go 5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just go up here. I'm going to make a mark at the 5-inch mark, so right here, and then we also want to decide the height. So I think I'm going to go with like 7.5. So let's go 7.5. That's going to be cut off. So let me move it over here. 7.5. I'm just going to make a mark that's not going to be cut off right here. Okay. So I'm going to turn and cut this, and I'll be right back. Okay. So this one is different than the one I just showed you because I actually now have 2 open sides because I didn't want to cut into the window here, so I ended up cutting off this side. Not a problem at all. We're just going to glue it shut, but we are going to put some paper in here, as I mentioned, just enough to cover up so that when you peek in the pocket, it doesn't look weird. So let me see if I've got something I could use there. Let's just use this. I cut oh my goodness. I cut some of just the journal pages and printed 2 to a page so I could make some larger tags and journal cards and stuff for this project. So we'll just put this in here. And I call this the cheat way. I just glue it on and then I cut around it. So let me just ink this up right here. Obviously that's going to get cut down, but again, I like to do it this way. Actually, let's cut it because that would be useful. I'm just going to cut with my scissors. Let's see how much we're leave in here. Probably about 3 inches. I'm not measuring, but that's approximation. Just there. And it also stabilizes the envelope. I am covering the envelopes with 65-pound paper because these are obviously very, very flimsy, so I want them to be pretty stable. So I did not turn my glue over. This is my second video today, so I just rolled from one into the other, cleaned up my desk in between because, as you know, I cannot craft in a mess. If you're new to my channel, I do not craft in a mess. I clean up after every art session, every crafting session. If I leave the house and go somewhere, I clean up before I leave. It's just kind of who I am, and I've come to accept that about myself. It's not for everyone, but it is for me. Oh, and I didn't cut this down. Doggone it. I put the glue on it, and now I'm going to get glue on my scissors, so I'm going to get my other scissors out so I don't get my good scissors all sticky. I'm going to grab a paper towel here and just try to wipe some of that off. I'm off to a rockin' start here. Goodness. But I did find these old scissors, so I'm keeping them handy for sticky stuff. Let's cut that off there. Okay. So then that's going to, so then when you peek in there, you're not going to see that. So now we can go ahead and glue both of the sides shut with our Barely Arts. I would recommend a glue that has a really small glue line so you don't lose too much of your pocket. How are you guys doing today? I did already ask you today, you just don't know it because it's a different video, but I still want to hear how you guys are. How are your families and your lives and your jobs and all of that good stuff? If you're new to my channel, I am a school district employee, so I have the summer off. So I'm enjoying a lot of craft time. Do I want that one? Or something. Yeah, I do want the big one. So I work with, I'm a paraeducator in special education. So I'm enjoying the summer, and it's very quiet around here because I don't have any kids at home, and my oldest daughter and her family are in Hawaii. So we do like to go to the lake and stuff during the summer, but they're gone currently, and my other daughter is busy. So yeah, just hanging out. So this part I've had a little bit of trouble with, this folding down part, and I do want to fold it just to get the fold in place before I start covering it with paper. So I thought I would try and just line this up along those points so that I could try to get a crease that was, you know, a fold that was even. So I'm just using my fingernails there and then just folding that back and giving that a good, see, it happened again. It happened again. That's okay. Boy, that's weird. That's all weird. Let's see. There we go. Perfection is not at play. Okay, so still doesn't look straight. What? What? It's like probably where I glued those sides, it's not quite stretched out, so it's wanting to pull back, but that's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. So I was thinking about not gluing this down, and actually when I put this paper on, making a pocket here. But I think I might instead, you know what, I'm just going to do what I did initially. Maybe I'll do another one off camera and play with that. This envelope feels a little bit weak, but I'm also haven't covered the paper, the envelope yet, so I will stop yammering. So we're going to start with this paper, and we're going to cover this section here. So we're not going to cut a piece that goes clear up here because then it's hard to fold that. It's going to be separate. So I want to kind of go down into this corner like that. So that means I'm just going to line this up here, and I'm going to just cut it off at the top just so that I'm not working with, actually I want to bring it down to that number thing and cut right at that line. I hope you guys can see it. I'm nervous to move my camera, so pardon me if I don't do that, and make a line there. I'm just going to cut straight across here and straight across there, and I'll be back in a sec. Pencil mark here to erase. Okay, so now we're going to cover this. But what I was saying is one could make this a pocket. I think it would just be tricky to get things in and out of there, but I don't know. I mean, if this stayed free, it wouldn't, and you could always put some Velcro. What do you think we should do, guys? Should we just do that and make it different than the prototype? Are you up for an adventure? You know what? I think we should go for it, and we'll just use some Velcro dots to attach that down. I love that so far. I love that. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. The only concern I have is the window. Like right here, that's going to get stuck because it's torn. So let's just try to glue that down a little bit and see if we can fix that. We could put a piece of paper over that. That might be the answer. Let's just cover that window inside. No harm. And it's going to prove to stabilize everything. So let's just put that down, and then we won't have to worry about anything getting stuck. We can go off the beaten path, can't we? That is creativity for you at its best. I am using my Fabri-Tac because this is one of those projects where I feel like you want to be able to move things pretty rapidly if they're not lining up. So there we go. Doesn't matter which direction it goes. We're just putting it down for a little bit more, just so things don't get stuck. Okay. So that means that when we glue this down, we're only going to glue it on, we're going to glue it. So I don't want that to show, though. I should have put something here. I have this piece of ephemera that we could put there, and that would be kind of decorative so that when we put our thumb notch, let's do that. That would solve that problem entirely. Yay! So many variations to this project as well, you guys. So much variation that you could do. I mean, adding pockets, adding, you know, yeah, just lots of choices. So we're going to go ahead, and that means that we need to, whoops, wrong way. Yeah, I do want it to go all the way to the edge. So before, I usually just would glue it on and cut it, but I don't want to cut the sides open inadvertently, and I feel like I'm a little off my game since this is my second video this morning, so I'm just going to go ahead and mark it and cut it with my cutter. I'll be right back. Awesome. Let's ink her up. This would actually be a great project to use with your scraps. I have to be in a mood to do kind of a mix and match kind of thing, and I'm not really in that space. It's been a challenging week, so as I mentioned in a previous video, I went over and helped my sister. She is 2 years older than me, so she'll be 61 in next week, and if she were to be diagnosed now, she'd be diagnosed with autism. I guarantee it. But she doesn't live well. I mean, in terms of she doesn't have any motivation to keep her apartment nice, and so I'm over there helping her again. Yeah, so as I mentioned before, her roommate, which is a guy that they've been friends for probably over 40 years, and you know, completely platonic relationship. They're not boyfriend girlfriend, even though he calls her babe. It's kind of comical, but he's having surgery, a hip replacement, so their apartment was not conducive to recovery or for medical personnel to come in there and help him. So I'm helping get things in order before the surgery. So it's been, and that means that there's a lot of running around. There's a lot of cleaning of really disgusting places in her apartment. That does not make my heart very happy, but I do it. So it's been a tough week. you know, it's some of that, you know, really hard, good stuff. So like you don't want to do it. It's not fun. It's not very rewarding even. Like she doesn't really get it. Like, oh, you know what? That paper's not even going to show. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's right there. Whew, whew. We're going to let that dry though before we pop a thumb notch in here. So sorry, me and my yabbering. So she's not like the rest of us. So she doesn't have really a sense of like, I don't know. It's just a strange thing. My sister is just different. She's not strange. It's just her, the way she operates in her life is just very different and challenging. So, okay. We're going to have to make this work. I don't care if those are sideways. So we're going to go ahead and cover that up with this paper. I'm thinking I want to try to get in there with a little bit of ink so that we don't see that blue so much. Now, one could, if you didn't want to see that color, you could cover the inside of your envelope. You could open it up completely and cover the whole inside with a really lightweight, like a 20-pound paper. And you would not be having this issue, but I think I'll do it that way instead. So I'm going to ink this edge since it's going to be butted up against there. And I'm just going to put glue directly on this flap. We'll have to cover the, well, no, we don't have to cover the other one because we didn't make an opening at the top, so this can just get glued down, which is a lot easier process. I'm just turning this again for my own ease. I'm going to kind of go off this way and get more of the other part of this image versus the beautiful teal color flowers over here, background. Okay, just give that a second. So yeah, my sister, it's like trying to coach a child, like try to teach somebody how to live, how to clean their room, how to interface with the world, how to motivate yourself to do your chores, how to, you know, it's just like children. And he is got some brain issues as well. So, oops, that moved. Did that move? Nope, it did not. My imagination. So he's got some challenges mentally as well, different than her. So he doesn't really get it either. And, you know, I kind of had to lay down the line and say, you know, guys, I'm putting a lot of time and effort into helping to support you, and if you want that accountability and you want that support, I'm happy to give it. But if you don't want that, I would like you to just tell me now, because it's excruciating for me to go over there and help her out, and then months and months and months pass and it's in the same condition it was in before. And so we're going to develop an accountability framework so that I can, with their permission, I can check in with them about how they're doing on their goals and just trying to give them the ownership of it. You know, this is your home. These are your goals for your home. And I want to be able to support you in making that happen. But, you know, you got to do your part. So, yeah, it's a struggle. So I am going to glue that down. Look at that. Oh! This just makes my heart sing. I love these papers. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's do our thumb notch. Hoping that I can do this. It's a little bit harder to tell where the center is because when you pop this up, it distorts the hole. But we're just going to give it our best shot and go right there. Boom. And there's our pretty paper underneath. Yay. Okay, there we go. So gorgeous. And that's really it, because I'm not going to put up another pocket on this. I was going to, but now that we've got a pocket here, and then you'd have a pocket behind, and then you also have a pocket here. So we're going to work on the ephemeral, excuse me, Although I did cut a bunch of little ephemera. I wonder if we could put a small pocket here on the front since I've got this beautiful paper. Let me just trim this down really quick. Or trim my edge. Let's ink this up, and then I'm trying to think if I want to do a thumb notch there or not. You don't always have to. It's going to be pretty clear that it's a pocket, so I'm not sure that we need to do that. In fact, I don't think I'm going to do that this time. So I'm just going to put that pocket right here, and that way we can use some of the small ephemera that I picked. So this is the top, so I like to hold it there. I don't always hold it, but then I know that I'm gluing on these 3 edges. In case you're a beginner, that's a great way to keep track of where you don't want to glue, leaving exposed only the edges that you do want to glue. I find that Bearly Arts glue is the best glue for vellum. I don't know if you guys experience that same thing, but it feels like it disappears better. My prototype, I was surprised by how much it showed. Look at that, like you can see it. So I'm not sure why that was. I don't mind it, but that was very different than my experience with Bearly Arts glue. So there we go. Or maybe I can just see it more because of the paper that's underneath it. I'm not sure. So let's look at what we've got here. So we've got this cute little stamp I definitely want to use on the front of this, but I've got so many goodies here. So let's just start inking some stuff up to stick in the vellum pocket, and then we'll work on the larger tags. So I did print on the back of all these with the Beautiful Birds background paper from Ruby and Pearl that I use all the time. One of the reasons why I love it is it takes up very little ink compared to other papers that I might choose. So I guess that's really it for that pocket. This was a small, I guess that could go in there. It seems a little bit big. Let's trim it down just a bit. That should be better. Yeah, let's round the corners on this. Oh, I put my rounder away. And I love this background paper too, because it's not super bold. It's just vintage tea-dyed kind of look. So we're going to stick that in there. Oh, that's lovely. I'm not going to shove it down there because it's still not dry. So do we want to stick this in here too? Why not? We're not going to round that, obviously, because it's already got a nice little framed border that I want to retain. I love it. I'm not going to put any tabs or anything on those little ones. And we'll figure out what we want to do here. Might do a little bit of a cluster or something there. I'm not sure if I'll do that on camera or not. This would also be really pretty because it will tie in everything. But then I wouldn't be using this stamp. But I could use the stamp up here. I don't know. We'll see. Not going to decide that right now. We also have this Paris one, which I absolutely love, and it's very simplistic. I think I'm going to go for that instead. But I'd like to separate this with a strip of paper. So, ooh, yes. So this one I printed 2 to a page as well, so I got a little bit of a smaller bit. So I'm just going to mark that, and I'm just going to have a strip that's about a 1/2 inch wide. I'll be right back. There you go. I'm just going to use this little, it's not quite as loud as some of the other parts of the image, so it suits me today. I'm going to use my my white glue here on my Bearly Arts just because it's a fast stick and it's not too difficult to put this on, because I know my edges are straight and my ends are straight, so it's pretty easy to get it on here really well. So I'm going to put that there, attach it there, just give it a press. Awesome. Loaded. I love loaded things. Very, very fun. And that's as simple as it needs to be. I love that. I think I want a piece of lace behind that though. Let me see if I can find some of my lace that tears easily here. There it is. So this is, I bought this on a big roll, And I love it because you can tear it really easily and like, you know, rough it up even on the harder lines. So it's very, very cool to add just a little bit of a grungy bit. So I'm going to put that right there, and I'm going to put the label on top of it. Awesome. Just don't overthink it, Cara-Renee. Oh, there we go. So much lace on the top and none on the bottom. There we go. Sometimes I'll come in and touch up under here and put a little bit more just so it doesn't get hung up anywhere. But that looks great. I'm going to hold it up to see if that's even. Looks pretty good. Happy with that. So large tags. So I thought it would be fun to use this one. Now that we've done this, we can put a card in here. But we need to get it in here, get it up here and measure it out. And you gotta allow for that glue. So our pocket is diminished by the glue line. So I'm just gonna mark it here. And I think the width is gonna be fine. So give me a sec. It's a little bit wide because I don't like it to stick out too much, so I'm going to take just a bit off. I mean, maybe 1/4 of an inch. That might be just slightly over. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and round the corners. Awesome. Okay, I think I want to use some of this paper for a tab, so I'm just going to fold that in half and use my sweet whale tail tab punch from the fantabulous Shelly, who sent this to me. Such a sweetheart. Such a sweetheart. Such a giving heart. I love it. You know, it's good when we're reminded to think about the world outside of us and be thoughtful towards someone else in terms of a surprise gift like that. Like, that was so cool. I mean, she asked me if I had one, and I'm like, because I mentioned in a video I didn't have a whale tail punch, so, or whatever you call those. So she's like, oh, I found one that's really affordable. So I'm like, yes, please. Yay. There we go. So that's not quite even, but you know what I say. Some of it's kind of hard to tell which direction it's going. I can say that the words are the right way down here. So that's going to slide into this pocket. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Is she too wide? That's a little bit tight. So since I know that I'm farther this way, I'm going to just take a bit off the top. Just a smidge. Just a slice, like maybe 1/8 of an inch. And that evens that crookedness up. So let me round these again. And we'll make one more tag and then we'll be done. And the tag that will go in here. I feel like I definitely got my mojo back. So I'm grateful. I've got a lot of ideas popping in my head, so now I feel like I can't keep up with my ideas, so I am filming ahead, so by the time this video, I don't know when this video will air, so. Oh, that's so cool. So cool, and I love that it sticks out just a little bit, the tab and the card. It gives that multi-layered look. So I think we're going to use this to make, we could actually put 2 tags in the pocket, but we're going to start with one. And this was a part of that scrap, so I just cut it into a rectangle so I would know that that's a great piece to use for something else. So we're going to use this here, and we need to obviously cut it down. So I think I want to cut it off of this image side again. We've got a lot of that going on in this project, so I'm going to make a line here. And then I'm going to kind of move this off here so I can see the top of my project here. And I'm going to go, to about here. Get rid of those pencil marks. Okay. So this one's going to be a tag. So let's get our little, it would be cool to actually make the tag the same. It doesn't ever work out that way though. I mean, I suppose what I could do if I wanted it to actually match up is go like this. Let's do it. Let's try it and see if it works. Let's see if it works. Who knows? You don't know until you try. Right? And then move it over and do this side. Yeah. And then what does that look like when it's in there? Oh my goodness, is it still not, is it sticking on that paper? I'm gonna be so frustrated if it's sticking on that paper. I don't think it could be. Let me reach for my ruler here. Let's see. No, nothing's in there. So I'm not sure what that's about. I'll have to investigate. Slide that in there. It's definitely sticking right at the top. So let's look together and see what's going on here. What is it sticking on? I cannot tell. There's nothing there. What is the deal? Yeah, it's catching on the fold of the junk mail envelope at the very bottom. Doggone that. Goodness gracious. So, note to self. Let's turn it over and see if we can get it in there. You know what? I'm going to just cut it off a little bit. When in doubt, cut it off. If you got to make it work, it's not a big deal. So I think next time I would make sure that none of those seams are exposed, because they will cause you to catch stuff. I thought we got them, but I must have missed something. This feels like lighter paper too. I wonder if my printer ran out of the heavier weight paper and it had lighter weight in there. This feels like a 32-pound paper. It's interesting. These feel different. They feel the same. Interesting. No sweat. We'll just work with it. Okay. So, and again, if you wanted this to be a floating pocket, which I might do that with this one, cover the back of it, and then you have a pretty back for it, and that would be nice. We might do that. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this in here. Hopefully it's going to go down further. There we go. Yes. And that tag shape worked perfectly, like a charm. Oh my gosh. It's like a double tag top. Love it. Love it so much. There we go. So I'll probably put a whale tail tab on the top, but that is our project for today. You guys can see close-up photos at the end of the video, and I'll probably cover the back. I really like that idea, and I have a whole nother piece of paper that I could do that with and just turn that over and put that on. So I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.